Hey, what is up guys? So today I want to talk about Pendulums ruined Yu-Gi-Oh! And that is the mechanic that lets you special summon, of course, a bunch of monsters all at once, just like the TV show. You can summon 3 blue eyes from your hand. But anyways, if you guys didn't know, in the OCG, Perform Mages and Perform Pals are absolutely dominating, and they don't even have the monkey keyboard yet, which is going to even make them stronger than they already are. I mean, you can see here on these OCG lists over here. First place, you got Perform Mages. Second place, Perform Mages. This Perform Mages is like crazy in all these OCG tournaments. And again, we don't have all the support yet, even in the OCG. It's going to happen in the TCG. Like, if you don't like Pendulums, they are going to be a thing. Now, I kind of want to talk about other games doing the whole mechanic of, you know, power creep. The new content is always stronger than the older content, and that has to technically exist. But there are right ways to do things and wrong ways to do things. Like, for example, I feel like, you know, the whole aspect of the Advanced Warfare, pay to RNG to win. Like, the worst part about these, like, elite weapons is you can use them in a ranked mode. Like, I wouldn't care if they had, like, a pay-to-win mode. You can use all of the elites. That's fine. I wouldn't play in that mode. I want to play in the competitive section. Why is this in ranked? I don't know. And I also felt like the same way when Kael'thas first came out. He was technically bugged, but he was bugged for a long time. Like, all these power creep things in, whether it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Or other card games, or even other, like, console games, PC games, I understand that the content creators need to make money, and in order for them to make money, the stuff has to be good that they're trying to sell. The previous stuff has to be not as good as the newer stuff. The newer stuff needs to be better. And, for example, let's just go ahead and... I wanted to share this video real quick because a lot of people felt the same way when they first saw Pendulum. This is a quick little vine here that I made.
Pendulum summon and be like, special summon? Normal?
So, yeah, that basically was my video discussing about Pendulums, and we all joked about it, right? But the thing is, it wasn't really meta at that time. Now, the video that I actually, like, made this from was basically back when Pendulums were very, very new, and you were using them in scraps, and you could do all kinds of crazy stuff. You still had to complete your scale. Now, the way I see Pendulums right now is I feel like they are very, very strong, and I feel like the stuff that's coming out is just out of control. Now, there are people that were like, oh my gosh, XYZs broke the game. Oh my gosh, Synchros broke the game. And in one sense, I understand when there's something new and it's really powerful, people are like, oh my gosh, I quit. There's too much knowledge for me, can't handle it. Now, keep in mind, when you're using you're going to bring out a Synchro monster or an Azneyes monster, you're basically using multiple cards. You either go normal summon, special summon. Even if you're special summoning something from the hand, that's still using multiple cards. Or if you're special summoning something from the graveyard, you still have to, you know, have that card in the graveyard. You foolish it, you send it to the graveyard. Whatever you do to get that monster in the graveyard, you do require multiple monsters to bring out, you know, of course, the powerful thing. Now, in the very beginning, where when Pendulums first existed, none of the cards were like, oh, you know, pay a certain life points and search. Now with, like, Monkey Keyboard, they're just like, oh, go ahead and search out a card for free. Pendulum Call, go ahead and cycle through your cards as quickly as possible. Sky Arc, search for cards. Maybe you got a Pendulum that can't really be used after the first second, where you're just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go ahead, Monkey Keyboard, and then you pop Monkey Keyboard. You do a lot of crazy stuff. Wavering Eyes makes things so much more consistent. The things go to the extra deck. And that's really where I feel that separates the whole, like, argument of, like, Synchros broke the game or XYZs broke the game. You're just using, like, a lot of the cards, just search out other cards, and that's the problem that I have. And there's also the Skull Acrobat Joker. Like, there's too many cards that just let you just search one card and then you complete your scale. You can search this and then you can complete your scale instantly. You could go Monkey into Joker complete scale with one card, and then you special summon a bunch of monsters. And if you're playing Magispecters, you get to re-add a bunch of cards. And that's really where I feel like I understand where players are coming from now. Because when they first came out, the first Pendulums, yeah, it was just Time Gazer, Stargazer, and then you had the Odd Eyes to search out either one of those. That was it. There was 3 Pendulum monsters that were viable. There might have been, like, some, like, other random one that came out, like, later, but for the most part, they were unused. The first real deck that we got was the Cleforts, and that deck was really good, but it was really good because one card was able to complete the scale. And now with the amount of consistency, like I said, guys, look at the OCG list. I'll definitely get you guys some of those deck profiles, because I know you guys want those. But I feel like there's a lot of times in different games where the power creep is too strong. And I kind of understand where you guys are coming from. And I'm not saying that, you know, it's necessarily something that needs to be fixed. because I don't think that they're going to essentially change the mechanic of Pendulums. They're not going to be like, oh, you know what, when Pendulum monsters die, they're going to go to the graveyard instead. Technically, they did change the rules of the game when they're like, oh, by the way, 2 field spells can be activated. Or they've changed the rules on the game. We've had the Tour Guide into Sangan ruling change. We've had so many ruling changes on Vayu. We've had Dark Soul searches change. These are like older cards. Well, Tour Guide's not that old, but like it was Tour Guide into Sangan, used to detach and get Sangan's effect. It was ridiculous. That card's banned now, but all of these crazy cards exist, and like what's funny is we go to the ban list and like Shrouds is still banned. Like it's absolutely crazy. But the thing that I think really makes players upset with the whole Pendulum mechanic is that once you get rid of the monsters, they would come back over and over, and other decks that are too old, they don't even stand a chance. Like, there is one thing when you're doing certain matchups, whether it's in Smash Brothers, like, you know, you Meta Knight versus anyone, like, it's just like Meta Knight wins, you know, there's huge advantage, but if someone's really good with something, they might be able to pull things off. Of course, you can argue that Heart of the Cards and Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe your Blacking deck can face off against a Pendulum deck, but for the most part, you're going to get absolutely stomped. They're like in a whole nother level. Like, you can't compete with a deck that's going to constantly summon a bunch of monsters over and over, and even if you destroy all of them, your Mirror Force, your Torrential, they come right back. And a lot of these cards, they get effects, you know, as soon as they're summoned, especially the Magispectors. That's one archetype that is just crazy. And then you have cards like Sky Arc right here, right, where it's just like, oh, you know, your opponent can't target Magician or Perform Power or Odd Eyes cards in your Pendulum zones with card effects. So it's like, oh, I complete my scale, you can't get rid of my scale. Now, I know some of you guys will be like, well, you know what, you can just run Anti-Spell Fragrance. That completely counters Pendulums. That is true, it does get side decked in a lot of different things. But the problem that I have with Anti-Spell Fragrance is that it literally, if you like lose the first game and then they go ahead next game, they go first, or you don't open up Anti-Spell Fragrance, they're just going to go completely off because they have really high consistency, especially with Pendulum Call and Sky Arc. These decks are just going to be out of control. And what's funny is this card over here, which comes out 620. I'm pretty sure this is already out. They're not even playing this. I'm like, why? It's because like Pendulum Call, they have Monkey Keyboard that is coming out. Like I said, this card is not even out, and like I said, the lists are there. Like you can see how many OCG decks are just all about the performance. Oh, courtesy of organization for this like list over here. But yeah, it's too much, and I would like to know what would you guys do about Pendulums, because I feel like they're way, way too powerful. And of course, you know, things get nerfed all the time, and I feel like the mechanic of being able to just search out too many cards and like you complete your skill with like one card, it makes the Pendulums way too good. 'Cause like I said, previously we didn't have that. It was like you had to wait a while because there was only technically 3 different cards you can play. If you played all of them, you'd have 9 cards, and sometimes you would have consistency issues. But now it's like, you know, go ahead and search, and then like you're gonna guarantee yourself that Pendulum board. And if everything gets Torrential, everything gets Mirror Force, as long as your opponent doesn't shoot you off, bam! Next turn you get all the monsters again. You get it all, and then you gotta search out the stuff. That's where I feel like a lot of the older players feel like that's overpowered. And I still think even the newer players that came out, maybe when Synchro just came out, or maybe when the XYZs just came out into the game, they still feel like this is broken. Like, I don't think that anyone's like, no, you know what, this is an underpowered archetype. It's totally on the same level as Synchros and Exceeds monsters. I understand if you exceed the Pendulums, I understand that they don't go back to the extra deck. You know, when you detach, they go back to the graveyard. But when you synchro with them, they still go back to the extra deck. Then you can re-synchro with them, and that's where I just facepalm. Like I face up cards in the extra deck. I don't know how I feel about that. That's like I understand like having 2 field spells because that's kind of a cool idea. But like I like the idea of the field is like, how is half the field one and how is half the field the other, and how do you apply both of them? Like it doesn't make very much sense, and like it didn't do too much for the game. There wasn't really any meta decks that I can remember that really changed as soon as they gave 2 field spell zones. It's not like, oh my gosh, there is 2 field spell zones now. What is it? Gravekeepers are now meta or something like that, or like Malefics are now meta. I know that the Gravekeepers are top, and I know the Malefics are top, but for the most part, that really didn't change very much. But this is like, it's too game-changing. And I feel like, I don't know how exactly I would fix this. Obviously, if Yu-Gi-Oh! Went ahead and cycled, because some of you guys understand what this term means. Cycling is like, Basically, every card after, let's say, for example, like 2014 and under, those are all banned. Like, you can play those in traditional, but you can't use them anymore. And I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh would be successful doing that. I think a lot of people would quit if Yu-Gi-Oh did blocks or cycles, which basically means like any card previous, like last 4 sets, or you can only use the current 4 sets like that are available. I think a lot of people would quit, so I don't think that that's the right approach. But I feel like the mechanic of Pendulum is just so out of control. And, you know, obviously, whatever comes out after Pendulums, like we had Synchros, we had XYZs, and then we had the Pendulums. What's going to come after Pendulum? What's going to be more broken than Pendulum? Special summon, like, whatever you want from your deck, ignoring summoning conditions and applying its effects? I don't know. Then that's what really scares me, because this is already such a strong mechanic. I don't know how I would exactly fix it. I would say one thing that I would like addressed, if it could be possible, is that once you get rid of, like, once they go away, they don't go face up into extra deck, because it's dumb to be able to be like, oh, I lost all my monsters? Oh, no problem, man. Just next turn go all out again. And especially when you have cards like this, which is like, oh, bro, you can't get rid of my pendulum scales. Like, face palm times 1,000, but like I said, I would like to know if you guys feel the same way, because I understand, you know, the game needs to evolve, but like this is, to me, it's not okay, and I don't think it's an appropriate way to, you know, progress in the game, especially when they're going to be so relevant. Like I said, in the TCG, we've only had the Cleese, so people don't really understand, I would say, in the TCG, because a lot of people, they don't really, you know, go to these, you know, other OCG sites and understand, or they don't play, like, what's, you know, OCG exclusive or something. Some people, like, just stick with the TCG, but you're going to be getting wrecked by the Perform Mages, and you will get salty when they go, oh, complete scale, destroy, and then it's like, oh my gosh, especially when you're trying to play like an older deck or a cheese deck, and like you get absolutely swarmed, and then like they have like the craziest consistency. But like I said, let me know, guys, in the comment section below, how would you fix Pendulums, or are you 100% okay with them? You're like, you know what, Azneyes, you just salty about Pendulums, they're not even that great, you know, my Ojama deck can wreck or something like that. I know those are going to be troll comments. Probably the most number one like comment is going to be like, yo, my Ojamas beat your Pendulums any day, man. It's going to be the top thing in the comment section below. But anyways, yeah, like I said, let me know your thoughts, because I would like to know how you guys would fix this game, because sometimes you know, developers do listen, and they can maybe address something, or perhaps tweak it a bit. But I don't think that doing the block cycle or the phasing out certain sets is going to be something that players like. I think they'll be upset, because I know I hate the idea of that. I have to keep on buying new cards, otherwise my old ones are irrelevant. Kind of like how Pokemon did that. I think it was a UFS, maybe Dragon Ball. Like there's probably a lot of card games that cycle. But anyways, like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been your boy Will Smith, signing out.